If I said to you, what do you think has been the most popular hobby to be taken up during 2020, I wonder what you'd guess. I actually couldn't find the answer, but I would take a good guess that walking has got to be up there. How many of us have taken up going for a daily walk or maybe a long weekend stroll? After all, it's been pretty much all we've been able to do. In fact, it's what I'm doing right now. Let me share a few facts with you about the benefits of getting out and stretching your legs. Short walks every day has the potential to increase productivity by up to 30%. 71% of people experienced a decrease in levels of depression after going out for a walk. 94% said that green exercise like walking, gardening or conservation work improved their mental health. Doing a little exercise like walking is scientifically proven to make us happier. And finally, last year, Sport England said that across the first 6 weeks of lockdown, an average of 63% of people said that they got active to manage their mental health. But what about our spiritual health? Personally, for me, I would say that walking has not only positively impacted my physical health, but also my spiritual. To keep my phone away and to look at the beauty of God's creation around me has helped me greatly over the past year or so. I feel a real closeness to God when I'm out in the open fields that I perhaps don't always feel at home inside. Last year, many of us read a book called The Elimination of Hurry, and one of the challenges was to stop multitasking. For me, that related to putting my phone away on walks and making space for God. John Mark Comer argues that actually multitasking is a myth. He says, I want to be fully present to the moment, to God, other people, work in the world, and my own soul. That's more than enough to consume my attention. God isn't just in the past and the future. He wants to be very much invested in our present as well. And what I love about our Father God is that He is an active God. He isn't absent and He definitely doesn't hide away from us. He's there beside you, but it's our choice to seek Him. There's so many examples in the Bible where people have encounters whilst on a journey. The road to Emmaus, where 2 disciples meet Jesus whilst walking. The road to Damascus, where Paul has his sudden conversion experience. Or perhaps the countless times that Jesus meets people out and about in the community, talking to them, challenging them, and praying with them. Back then, there were a lack of distractions, especially in the form of phones with Facebook notifications popping up, WhatsApp buzzing away, or 24-hour news alerts coming through. People were far more present and aware of what was going on in their surroundings, meaning that they didn't miss out on the good news that Jesus was bringing. Over lockdown, there has been a real message out there to get out for some fresh air because it's so important for our physical and mental health. Many of us have listened to this advice and reaped the benefits. But what if we took as much care to look after our spiritual health too, to make it a priority to make room for God and walk with Him daily? How is it that you make a new friend? By sharing your stories, maybe it's countless hours of hanging out, texts, calls or whatever. Somehow you tell each other the story of you. And I wonder, have you heard God's story for you recently? God's desire is to know us intimately and to keep in touch with us. In John 15:9 from the Passion Translation, Jesus says, I love each of you with the same love that the Father loves me. You must continually let my love nourish your hearts. If you keep my commands, you will live in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands, for I continually live nourished and empowered by His love. My purpose for telling you these things is so that the joy that I experience will fill your hearts with overflowing gladness. What I love here is that the word continually is mentioned multiple times, because Jesus is continually there with an outstretched hand, just waiting for us to take it. He wants us to stop multitasking, to make space for Him and to walk with Him. Maybe there are things in your life that make you feel further away from God. Some bad habits perhaps, and it could be that they need to be taken away. A few weeks ago, I went to an online youth leader conference where someone was speaking about removing things to create room for God. And they said that this was like pruning. We must remember that pruning can feel like a punishment, but is actually the thing that promotes growth. So how can you make room for God this week? Could you make space for a time of prayer, of worship or Bible study? Could you put your phone away on a walk and have a time of reflection? These are just examples, but I pray that you find what works for you. And remember that Jesus' hand is always outstretched to you. You just need to choose to take it.